What's up, YouTube and world? This is Tiara.
And I'm Mickey, aka Derek.
Yeah, so we just wanted to introduce you to our page, which is called mickeyyandt. And it's kind of bittersweet because we've been looking forward to starting our YouTube for quite some time now. Forever. And we didn't want our introduction to be around all of these types of circumstances.
Correct.
So we decided to, let him finish scratching.
So our pup, the Cane Corso over here, Captain.
Yeah, so we just had a new baby.
Yes, we did.
He's 7 months. We will definitely let you guys meet him soon. But what I was saying was we really didn't imagine our introduction being around these circumstances. And so today we're going to cut our intro short. We'll just let you guys get to know us as we continue doing videos. But we really are just going to actually speak about the social and racial justice movement that's happening right now.
Correct. Yeah, well, our page is won't be as serious as the topics that we're having today, but I think that would be pretty amiss not to talk about them. You know, in some ways, or some form, you know, everybody's affected by it, either through the shutdowns, through the pandemic, or the shutdowns through the protesting that we've having, and you know, some people have actually experienced both, or one or the other, but more than likely, it affected you somehow, and if it hasn't, maybe we can spread some light on it about, our thoughts about it.
Yeah, so we are actually residents of Chicago, which is actually being heavily impacted and has been continuously heavily impacted by everything that's been happening. And we kind of wanted to wrap our minds around everything that's been going on. And with everything that we're going to talk about, we just really want to emphasize that we are behind the movement. We are for the movement. The movement is needed. We are absolutely for it, absolutely behind it. But there are just a few things that we wanted to unpack as Black people in America that's affected by this, and our communities are affected by this. We just wanted to kind of wrap our heads around it and unpack it a little bit.
Yep. And I think that life gives you different perspectives, obviously, as you grow and your experiences. Mine is kind of a little bit more conservative, being in the military, being raised with a pretty strict background with my father, and my grandfather in the military. So I'm a little bit more on the conservative side about how to get things done. I prefer to get things done with a more direct economical impact, as opposed to the protesting, and I mean, anger is expressed in the beholder, honestly. I mean, but I would prefer us to go do the more organized, a little bit more organized, direct things, as far as like stop spending certain people.
Well, before we talk about that, I love to pause here and kind of unpack this, because he mentioned that he is a very conservative point of view, and
but not conservative.
But not conservative.
Liberal about a lot of things, but I just feel like there's some things that I'm a little bit more conservative about.
Yes, I agree with him on that. He does have some conservative and more traditional views on certain things. And then I am definitely more from the liberal side and liberal background, and
firecracker.
I mean, I just think that, if you keep doing things the same way, you're going to get the same results. So it requires innovation, it requires reimagining, it requires new reform and new ways of doing things. And so I think that is important for us both to tell you that, because when we do have our channel and we are being playful and silly with you guys, you'll understand kind of both sides of the spectrum that we're coming from, and how this has worked so well for us and has really balanced our marriage and our relationship before marriage and now. We have a lot of discussions around everything that's going on, and we're not always on the same page. And so, and it takes growth, it takes maturity, it takes a lot of understanding, balance and understanding the other person's point of view to have a successful relationship with so many differences. So.
Well, I mean, I guess we can kind of kick it off with that. I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with just being, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and be able to feel what they feel is exactly what people are trying to accomplish now with the rioting and protesting about this, from the police brutality to the social injustice and the racial injustice as well. I feel like that point should be made, and everybody has the right to do that. I just would, as my point of view is, I would just a little bit more, like I said, just more direct with it. I mean, T said it earlier, but she said also that reform and changes, and you can't do the same thing over and over again. And that's where I'm kind of at with the protests right now. Having protests and being able to express your views is one thing, but there's a time where the only thing people respond to is voting them out of the office and stop spending it. As you look at back in the day when they had the boycotts of the bus system, and I think that was in Alabama, and the impact of the black dollar. And that's where I'm at with that. If we can impact them with our dollars.
I guess what he is trying to say is he would prefer us to be more organized with our protests, but also our voice.
Yeah. More of a centralized.
And adding on to that. Yeah.
Message. Yeah.
Centralized message. So what exactly are we asking for, or what are we saying? Yes, I know that we're saying we want justice, and yes, I know that we're saying Black Lives Matter. And me, and I'm sure him as well, we will be behind both of those causes until we die. But
we're black. I mean,
but what are we actually? What is the action item list that we want to come together and be behind as a united front? So I think that was one, which is being more organized, and two was having a centralized message, and then three, which we've already kind of hinted on, and I think that this should definitely be one of the action items on that list that we're talking about, this imaginary list somewhere that's going to be created and we're going to stand behind and be a unit behind as a Black community. But I absolutely believe that there needs to be a police reform. So this is not something that can be attacked from, inside the system with one or two good police officers. There are good police officers out there. That's why I really want to be intentional about saying police reform does not mean every police officer is bad.
That is true. And also, I don't want to make this a black versus white thing, because I've had some black police officers treat me worse than the white police officers, and I'm nowhere, shape, or form a criminal.
So when we say police reform, we are not trying to make this a color thing.
Correct.
That's what he's saying. When we say police reform, we are saying the entire institution of the police force.
Correct. Some of the things I would like to see, though, there was a time back in the 60s and the 70s when you would see police officers walk through the neighborhoods. Not saying that police tensions weren't as high as they are now, but I think that when you're serving a community, you have to be visible. You have to be able to be accessible to that community, not just riding by. Because there's a lot of times where I think it's just like dogs. People sense fear. I feel like they feel like the police are afraid of them, and the police are definitely afraid of situations. And in their right, they could be justified in being afraid. But I'm saying
they have an extremely difficult job.
That is correct.
And it is a valuable job when done correctly.
Yep.
And I feel like at one point, I'm sure at some point, there was, a majority good force. I wouldn't say that was during my lifetime. Growing up, at least in my household and most black kids' households around me, you were taught to kind of fear the cops, or, bad guys. Cops are going to get you if you're bad, that sort of thing. So there was never like a good connotation or association in your mind with cops. He alluded to it earlier when he was saying there used to be that relationship with cops when they used to be infiltrated into the communities, and that relationship existed, and there was, kumbaya moments.
I wouldn't say kumbaya, but I'm saying that the motto of police officers is to protect and serve. But they can't do either if they're not in the communities that they serve. So I feel like that part has been negated due to a couple things, the budgets and just how people react to the police now. But I think they have to go back to trying to service the communities that they're in. Not necessarily don't have to be out on the roadside, changing tires and stuff like that. But I mean, you definitely have to be able to go back and say, you have to build that relationship with that community.
Advocating for a police reform to the entire institution. It has to be top down, bottom up, community around approach in order to rectify this and correct this system that already exists.
I agree. And just to kind of wrap this whole situation up, I mean, with the pandemic and racial injustice, you definitely have to get more. The key word was community there, community involvement. You gotta start taking care of one another, and the police is one thing, and then you gotta look at the other thing is that they're just a representation of, or a microcosm of the world, honestly. And I do believe that the police act the way that they do is because we act that way to each other. Not saying everybody, not saying every cop is bad, but the way that we treat each other is definitely a reflection of our leadership. So, and the people that we vote in and the people that we have represent us, not saying that, that everybody's bad once again, but I'm just saying that if we take that more of community approach, taking care of one another, then the police have no choice but to take that same route, because there are a lot of systems in place definitely to keep the minorities down, but minorities do definitely impact each other on a day-to-day basis way more than the police officers do. So if we can just take the time out and say, thank you or help. Every time I go to a restaurant or something, I always make sure that if I'm sitting down in there, I know it's not my job, but I definitely will take the time to push in my chair and wipe off the table. I understand that might be somebody else's job, and I'm a customer, but
he's a great tipper too.
Yeah, that's another thing. I pay for the services because I respect it, and I know it's a hard job, but that's what I meant. If we can just trickle down that back to our communities and have that a little bit more, be more approachable.
And that community involvement is different for everyone. He is not, by telling his examples of what he does, which is being gracious with his tips and being a great customer to the people that serve us, he's not saying go out and do that. That is an example, so you can do that, but everyone has their own approach.
Yeah, for sure.
My approach is advocacy and being at the headlines and at the front lines, and being behind our mayor and her decisions, but just making sure that I am a voice and in our community and politically. So there's different approaches to everything, and I'm sure like we said before, you guys will definitely get to know us more with our channel. Our channel will not be this serious. You guys kind of saw us throughout the video being a little bit playful, but this was an extremely serious topic, so we took it serious.
This is our first video, so
it is.
I felt like this is, we got a lot of changes in our life right now, and I feel like that this is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and give a little bit of exposure to ourselves in our lives, and take you guys along with that journey, and just to put a little cherry on top, you know, I just want to make sure that you guys know that, you know, I'm not only just a great tipper, I'm just a great guy.
Oh my God. I mean, I like something about him. I married him, so.
Right.
But yeah, guys, we just wanted to begin our channel, to start it. There will be more videos weekly, so please be sure to look out for that. We are.
And I'll have a haircut possibly this week, so you know I gotta get
or
my
not.
pandemic on.
But,
I mean, not the pandemic on, but you know, gotta, what's it called? Stay-at-home orders. But you know, we can't open up. Chicago don't open up till Wednesday. You know, I'm not going to Indiana.
Whether or not he has a haircut.
Cut in Indiana.
Whether or not he has a haircut.
That's for one.
There will be more videos coming, so look forward to that.
Mickey.
Auntie. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you. What's up, YouTube and world?
I'm sorry, this guy's getting up into the screen over here. Yeah, so I'm a little bit more.
Just settle him. I'm sure at some point there was.
So he was biting on my phone.
Shit, my earrings. That was a good line. That was a really good line. Okay, puppy, you have to go.
Come on. Down. Or even a 2-minute clip.
Okay, 2-minute clip it is. Lick your lips, they right at the top. Ooh, this whole video you about to have powdered donut lips. Ooh, give me a kiss. And it's actually sit up. For me, it's
like the preservation. You know what I'm saying?
No. It's making sure I advocate for our neighborhoods, advocate for our preservation, advocate for.
That's the word I use.
But like we said before, you guys will definitely get to know us more with our channel. So look forward to that. Mickey and T, Mickey and T.
Mickey.
Auntie. Say it again.
Mickey. Oh, I fucked up.
The dog is snoring.
Mickey.
Auntie. We'll bring you more videos weekly. Thanks, guys.